Have you ever noticed that when you go overboard with insane good luck rituals, you become not only a burden to your family, but pretty much everyone around you, including the viewing audience? Well, that's what Lynn found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of The Loud House. Cue the intro. Today's episode is on thin ice. In this episode, Lynn goes to a hockey game with some of her family members, and her extreme sports superstitions cause an insane amount of chaos. There are some who say this isn't the worst Lynn episode, but in my opinion, I'm strongly inclined to believe it really is the worst. It's really sad because Good Sports is the episode I consider her best, and the episode I strongly consider her worst are both in the same season. What truly kills Lynn's performance in this episode is the one part of her character I thought I'd never grow to hate: believing and embracing good luck sports rituals. It was already bad enough when they were used in No Such Luck, but this episode made it the entire running gag from start to finish. Seriously, that's pretty much the only thing she does from the moment the episode starts until the moment it ends. Compare the ritual she did here versus the one she did in Good Sports, and you'll notice how in the latter she doesn't go excessively insane with them. Before this episode, I almost never had a problem with her believing in sports superstitions and performing good luck rituals because that plays to the competitive side of who she is. However, the biggest issue with that part of her character is the fact this episode amplified it to the extreme, and she came off as more overbearing than funny. It got to the point where not only her family couldn't enjoy the hockey game, but also to the point where she got kicked out of the arena. The worst part is her family fully acknowledges how much they hate it when Lynn puts them through every single ritual, no matter how stupid, disgusting, or outright embarrassing. She has her dad, Luann, and Lincoln embrace every ritual she wants them to do, no matter how much they don't want to, and even giving them a to-do list in her absence. That last part really puzzles me because why would they willingly do something they hate when they know Lynn's not going to be around to see if they're actually doing it? But yeah, Lynn was being totally obnoxious with wanting to do all these insane rituals and got kicked out of the building as a result. You think this would serve as a moment of reflection, but no. She tries to sneak back inside to continue doing the rituals that got her in trouble, and is subsequently chased by the same security guard who threw her out. She makes a scene in front of the hockey players and the crowd, and she gets locked inside a small jail cell until the end of the game. Assuming it's her fault her team might have lost because she wasn't there to do any more good luck rituals, she finds out her team actually won. Roddy McQuads, voiced by Kyle Clifford of the Toronto Maple Leafs, said his team is heading to the championships, and it wasn't because of Lynn's good luck rituals. He explains how even though he and the other athletes believe in superstitions, they aren't the deciding factor of a game. The real fun of the game comes from the unpredictability of the outcome, and that's honestly a good lesson. It's at that moment you think Lynn would finally acknowledge how she doesn't need to be overly superstitious when it comes to sports, and yet what does she do? She says she won't be superstitious for hockey games on Fridays after 2 p.m. in the month of March. Is it just me, or does it sound like she didn't really learn anything whatsoever? You could say she won't be as superstitious as she was before, but the way you hear her family groan strongly indicates that she didn't take Rowdy's words to heart. I guess when your favorite athlete and getting temporarily thrown in the slammer isn't enough to help you see sense, I guess nothing will. Overall, this episode might very well be the worst of the worst when it comes to Lynn Jr. Taking the sports superstition side of her character and turning it into a full-fledged episode exposes how incredibly stupid the whole gimmick is. That part of her character can only work in short bursts, and having it be Lynn's ultimate downfall without her coming to realize her own mistakes just makes you feel as though you wasted your time watching the episode. You really feel bad for her family because they were guilted into coming to the game, and they ended up having a miserable time because of the person who guilted them. Actually, come to think of it, Fern the security guard is another character for whom you also feel sorry. Lynn tried to rope her into the ritual was when she just wanted to be left alone, and her chasing down and throwing the book at Lynn was perfectly warranted. The episode tries to make the security guard look like the villain, but her behavior in response to Lynn was totally justified. You know it's a bad sign when the intended protagonist comes off as the primary antagonist to both herself and those around her. The only minor positive I could find was Lynn interacting with Mr. Grouse, a subtle callback to the episode Good Sports where they briefly talked about their shared interest in hockey. I used to question why he and Lynn didn't go to this game together if they both loved the same team, but then I remember what Lynn was doing in this episode and that answered my question. Then again, Flip sold Grouse a fake ticket, so maybe they would have spent the entire game outside or in a jail cell, but whatever. From a wasted sports celebrity cameo to the main character not really learning their lesson, it's no wonder this episode gets a lot of hate. As for how the game of hockey was represented in this episode, I have no comment. With that said, I give On Thin Ice a 2.2 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of On Thin Ice. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.